pandemic is hopefully lessening soon. It doesn't seem like it.
Where did
some parts.
What do you, like in other parts besides Jeju? What are you talking about?
Let me do my segue.
All right, sorry.
So it's lessening in other parts of the world. Like in America, people are talking about going to the movies there. Now,
these are Americans.
Yeah.
All right.
Your brethren and sisters.
My brethren said, I'm not sure.
And I mentioned this because a new movie has recently come out.
I'm super excited about talking about this.
Okay, it's called Everglow. And
which is a real fun title, too, when we tell you what it's about. So it's, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's called Everglow. And it takes place on Jeju Island.
It's all filmed.
All filmed here. And it's a story about a 70-year-old haenyeo falling in love with a 30-year-old producer.
Yeah, a documentarian. That came to the island to do a piece and then was interviewing her. And then subsequently...
They
wham bam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
We're mentioning
which is very touche here in Korea. It's causing a lot of attention.
The reason why I wanted to talk about this, and I'm thinking we just talked to Brenda, about haenyeo, and we have very strong opinions about using haenyeo for profit and for like eroticizing them and exoticizing
them, especially,
and using them and their image for gain in some way, like the government does it, and a lot.
When really, again, like Brenda said it best, this is their actual life.
It's a job.
It's their job. It's their life. This is not something that should necessarily be romanticized, much like the Western culture has romanticized them. So, but yeah.
So this movie came out at the end of the month. I haven't been able to see it yet. Actually,
nor have I, but they did do. I think I told you this a while ago when it was happening. They did a screening with English subtitles. Unfortunately, I had to work and I could not. I tried to get out of it, but I would have loved to have seen that. They had a whole thing, a whole screening, and
for us to probably talk about it would be good for us to see it first.
Yes,
but I don't know how. I don't know if my opinion's going to change. Like I
don't know.
So the movie. One important thing about this movie is the fact that the woman who's performing as the haenyeo is a Jeju actress.
Yes. And she,
And where's her name?
And I will say this, I have been following this movie and I've seen her interview, where is her name? Soo Jun Moon?
No, Go Do
Shim. I've seen her interviews, and if anything makes me think this movie is her interviews.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Like the way she speaks, the way she talks about agreeing to do the movie.
Yeah.
Really.
She seems like an actress, like that term. And she, like, this is her island, so it's not like you're just getting some other actress to play a haenyeo. She understands the culture and like at the recent Sasam event, this 4/3 April 3rd event, she read a poem at it. When the president came,
that's right?
Like it's not just like she's invested. So maybe that'll make it more than just exploitation. But
I think not only that piece, which is nice at the exploitation, but I feel like as an octogenarian?
Octogenarian is an 80-year-old
female actress. Her voice speaking up about this very touche subject has been really cool to listen to. She's done a lot of interviews. She was very vocal and very open and honest about how she was hesitant about taking this role until she sat down with a director and discussed like the ins and out about it. And she thought, this is exactly the role I should be taking.
So maybe there's more to it than just like a romance or a melodrama, which is what it's kind of advertised.
I think in this day and age, a female being able to make a choice about who she's able to love, who she's able to be intimate with at 80 years old, it's her decision. And I think, again, very hard to say that we know what we're talking about without having seen the movie, but based on all the interviews I've watched, she feels very strongly about this role.
It's just, my first reaction to when I heard about this is that like my wife's family, they're a haenyeo,
right?
And my wife's mother was supposed to have been a haenyeo, but she couldn't do it because of like health reasons, right? So, and she's 70. She's the same age as the woman in the movie, the character in the movie, and I can't imagine her or someone like her falling in love with anybody other than her husband, but also with anybody 30 or falling in love with anybody now. And that doesn't mean individuals can't, right? Like that's
right.
Like just because many people that age wouldn't do it doesn't mean one person wouldn't. But I just have having met several haenyeo and having dinner with them and stuff. I have a hard time seeing how that reality would work. Like
if I can be blunt, I wonder if that's because you're a male.
That and
you're married and you have a child,
right?
But I'm single, a female, and a little bit older, and I don't know.
That's a good point.
I think it's perspective. Like it doesn't seem so far fetched. I mean, it is a big age gap, but if you have a connection, which I guess this is exactly what this movie is about. This man is interested in her life, so there's connection number one. I don't know. I definitely want to watch it. Yeah, that's for sure. It's definitely, there's enough talk about it. Her interviews in particular, if I wasn't sold, watching her interview has sold me.
Yeah. The director made a comment that I didn't like.
Oh.
I didn't like it. I'm not invested
But just was interesting?
Just like he said, he didn't want people to focus on the reality of it. He wanted people to focus on the fantasy of it, which is just like,
that's interesting.
Like, what? Okay. So, like, the fact that it's a 70-year-old haenyeo falling over 30. My wife always says the difference between her and her mother is like 150 years. It's not...
This I get.
It's It's not just...
Yeah.
It's not the 40 years or whatever the real... Like, it's the
mentality. It's the life they've lived. It's the hardships they've gone through. Everything compared to,
She's 70. She would have been born during or near the end of the massacre. Before the birth of South Korea. It would have been a completely different country. And
this is very true. That's a very good point too.
And that's what I was thinking of mainly when I was mentioning like
the age, the
my mother-in-law. Right? Is that. So if you have seen it, if you have comments, email us at meyouandjeju@gmail.com or hit us up on Instagram and stuff. We'd love to know what you think about this movie.
Yeah.
Because
now I've got all these thoughts in my head about it. So
now I'm dying to see this movie.
Yeah, I do. We really need to watch it. I'm trying to find how to get a hold of the copy with the English dialect, and then I was thinking it'd be cool to like do another showing. Yeah, but anyways, it's all up in my head and thoughts, but I'm really stoked to see it.